The big story today, I'm sure that you've been hearing about it here on talkSPORT. You've been hearing about it on every single news channel that maybe you flicked on the telly as well. It's all in regard to Match of the Day. Match of the Day tomorrow night. We are told that there will not be any presenters on Match of the Day tomorrow. Here's the official statement. BBC spokesperson said, some of our pundits have said they don't wish to appear on the programme whilst we seek to resolve the situation with Gary, that being Gary Lineker. We understand their position and we have decided that the programme will focus on match action without any studio presentation or punditry. So you'll get your goals, you'll get your highlights of your matches, but you won't get any expert insight from presentation team tomorrow on Match of the Day. This is all in light, of course, as the BBC asked Mr Lineker to step back from his duties at Match of the Day as they obviously address the situation with a tweet that he put out on his own personal Twitter account this week. And obviously his mates, his colleagues are standing by him and saying, listen, we whether they agree or disagree with the actual context of Gary Lineker's tweet, I think it's important to stand up for freedom of speech. Now, I appreciate that there are rules and regulations when you're affiliated to a particular broadcast outlet like the BBC, and I'm sure it's been well documented. Mr Lineker has been warned about this before, and people have spoken about his social media before. But I stand by the fact that it is his platform. He has not said what he said on the particular platform. It's on his platform, and he's entitled on his platform to say whatever he wants to say. Of course, there's repercussions that come along with that, but I agree with his mates, Ian Wright, Alan Shearer in particular, for standing alongside their pal, not necessarily because they agree with the things that he said. I don't know whether they do or whether they don't, but they're obviously agreeing with the right for freedom of speech. And I think that is an important thing, especially in this particular case, because this particular case is linked to the government, as we already know, don't we? So he was making a comment on policies that the government were impending, and therefore the action from the BBC with their links to the government of previous cases that I'm sure people are fully aware of does muddy the water with this particular case. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because I don't think anybody would have expected the response that has happened over the last few hours, with everybody saying, I stand with Gary, I'm going to go and I won't be on the show. So it's going to be an interesting programme tomorrow. A first for Match of the Day.
First of its kind.
With no pundits on there.
Yeah. Is this the downfall of Match of the Day? do you know what? Like, I get everything that's happening, and like, obviously Gary Lineker's chosen his side that he wants to go with, and he's sticking by, and you got to admire the man, you know.
If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, mate.
Yeah.
So that, you know what I mean? You've got to admire a fella that stands up for what he believes in.
And listen, look, you got Gary Lineker, Ian Wright, Alan Shearer, top pundits in the game, and they're sticking, well, and then you got Alex Scott following on, then you got Micah Richards, and there's a lot of people involved in this movement, and it's like a team, yeah? So you see one of your teammates struggling, you say, do you know what? I'm sticking with you. Whether you agree with it or not, freedom of speech should always stand firm. And I believe in that. But at the same time, he's got his teammates backing him because of that. He shouldn't be I don't think he should be under any sort of scrutiny to what he tweets independently. But as you said, he still has a way of thinking where he's going to get into trouble if he says the wrong thing. And whether you believe in what he's saying or not, I think he still has the right to what he wants to say.
100%.
And his job shouldn't be affected by it, really. And it's been a common theme across the whole of the media world.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you could make a mistake. I've been there, I've made a mistake and said the wrong things, as I usually do. And I don't mean any harm by it. And I was just probably not well educated on the subject. And then I was in trouble. And then I have to apologise and then I go and do some education on the subject.
Yeah.
And then I come back, I apologise, and I understand what kind of nerve I hit a certain community or whatever happened. And it's hard. But with the Gary Lineker situation, I think his mates want to stick by him. And because of the freedom of speech thing.
Yeah, but in his situation, which is different to your situation, you've obviously held your hands up, apologised for the moment, and then taken the repercussions to obviously educate yourself and get better. In this situation, obviously, I think he's been asked to apologise. He said, no, I'm not apologising for that because I believe in what I said. And my take on all things like this, social media is the Wild West, isn't it? You can literally say anything you want on social media. And of course, as people in the media, and especially a person like Gary Lineker, who has a massive individual following as well as
massive influence,
as well as a group following in his standing on the BBC. I stand by the fact that he has not done this on anybody else's platform other than his own platform. It's his platform. He's well entitled to say what he wants on that platform. But there are repercussions when you are a person of that type of stature with that type of influence. But if he believes that he is coming from a place of fact, he's not putting any misinformation out there, then, you know, you've got to admire somebody that's standing by their own principle, that stands there and says to himself, do you know something? No, I believe in what I've said.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna stand by what I've said. I'm not apologising for that. And obviously now we've got a discussion that is going to go on over the next God knows how many days between him and his employer to see how they move forward. But I do admire, like we both said.
And it depends how strongly you feel about this. You know, like.
Listen,
life's all about opinions. A lot of things are said in life as well. What's going to actually rock your boat to say, I don't want to ever see Gary Lineker again on Match of the Day? Is this enough? You know, is this enough?
Yeah.
Like, he's such a respected person in football. Now, politics is actually everyone says, politics shouldn't be around in football. It is, and we have to accept that. And he's got a voice. And he's not a politician, but he strongly believes in some of the stuff he says. And it's up to him whether he wants to say it or not and voice his opinion. But he has to run that risk and take a responsibility, which he is. So he's standing by his words, and you got to respect that.